Hi, welcome back. I'm Renee, and I'll be taking care of the lesson today. Um, I cannot say enough thank you for all the support that we are receiving through your participation in these virtual lessons and all the activities that we are doing. It's very important to emphasize that in order to survive this crisis, we all the artists need your support. So far, every artist that I know has been collaborating, doing some sort of thing. Other places are really struggling and some others are closing. So it's very important if you can support all these venues. If you love to dance and you want to keep this for the future, I encourage you not only to support our venue, but every artistic venue that there is in our area and in the world. Everybody needs your support right now. And I know that we are not going out dancing yet. I know that it's very difficult. It's difficult for you, it's difficult for me, but think about this. If you have the ability to support that, these venues, these very virtual, probably not what we're used to, but we're going to come back a lot faster than you expect. So once again, thank you so very much, but we still need your support. Today we have a very interesting thing. Today we're going to be doing the lesson with the music of one of my favorites. It's Rodolfo Biaggi. And the reason why I chose Biaggi is because Biaggi has this ability to move me in a very different way. I know that not all the music is perceived by everybody the same way. To me, what Biaggi does is accelerate a little bit of my beat. So I usually tend to dance a little bit faster, but not in the sense of doing everything fast. I start imagining the whole movements in a very different. Imagine that it's like a machine that is moving like this, and all of a sudden that machine is moving here a little bit faster, but it still kind of like has a different velocity outside. That's how I imagine the music. So we're going to do a variation, two variations of half molinete. And as usual, I'm going to start by the role of the leader, okay? So we get used to be aware all the time in the position of the legs of my dance partner. I'm going to use Fred and Ginger. Fred is on my left hand, Ginger is on my right. For you ladies, Fred is your right leg, Ginger is your left leg, okay? So, this is very simple. We're going to do first a salida, we're going to do a few rebounds, and then we're going to do the half molinete. So I start by taking a side step, nice and easy, and after that side step, I'm going to make a forward step with my right foot. This is for the leaders. And right after this, see, I'm going to go 1, 2. In the third, I'm going to collect my feet. See how I'm collecting my feet after I do that rebound, but I don't stop moving my torso. As you can tell, this half molinete, as the name is telling you, media luna, half molinete, is making me veer 180 degrees. For now, I can make that a little bit, the angle can go a little bit larger. But for now, we're going to concentrate in ending up. That's my front, I'm going to end up here. For that, I want you to remember, gentlemen, that your torso is what is leading the movement, not so much your feet. Now, side, 1, 2. After the third, 1, 2, 3. I keep moving my torso and I finish 6, 7, and 8. Okay? That has to be a little bit, right now I'm just doing it very slow. If I do it with the rhythm of the music, that is going to happen. Bum, 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 bum. Okay? So that is going to be our first exercise. In the second exercise, we're going to like put this a little bit apart, and now we're going to focus just in the second part. I'm going to take a side step, and I'm going to lead back ochos. 1, 2. In this second back ocho, I'm going to start playing with her right leg, see? As you can tell, I turned again 180 degrees. Let's do it again. I lead side step. I lift her center up. I'm going to explain that with a pillow. 1 back ocho, another back ocho. See how I step first with her, but then I create a rebound. If I put the legs a little bit apart and try to just focus in my lead as in my upper body, I'm going to do it in front of the camera so you can see what's happening. This is the first part. We're going to divide these two exercises. Side step. The first, I have to go forward with my right foot. So I go, see how the movement is happening. It's kind of like I'm pulling a little bit ahead of taking my foot. And I'm coming back again. See, I move and then I step. I move and then I step. I need to do that so the lady is moving her body in the same way. She's going here and she understands that she needs to go there and come back. Okay? Now, once again. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. We're done. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. My torso is not does not stop moving in the whole full exercise. So I want you to make sure that you understand that part. Oops, I forgot that I have the microphone close to me, so if there is a noise, I'm going to try to redo this. I'm going to do it now in a diagonal line so you can perceive what I'm doing. Okay. I don't want you to, probably a lot of you guys are like, okay, immediately thinking, how many steps do I have to do there, or she has to do there? I just want you to focus in, if you have any doubts, go to the first part and see how when I was doing with the sticks, try to understand that part. If you need to count, you count your own count. I don't want to emphasize that counting. The one thing that I really want you to understand is your lead for now. Second part. In the second part, I'm leading side step, back ocho, another back ocho. Here I'm going to relax a little bit, and then I'm going to create my syncopation. See how I'm gently moving 90 degrees. My chest is moving 90 degrees. And then I keep going. Pam, pam, pam. Forward ocho. And I finish 6, 7, and 8. Although I am not really counting the steps, I know exactly, I need to know exactly where are the feet of my dance partner. So if I do it one more time, I am actually going to do it in front of the camera. Side step, first back ocho, second back ocho. Here, I invite her to come with me and do the rebounds. And then 1, 2, 3. I'm going to go a little bit wider in the footwork later on, but notice that when I am doing these exercises, at the very end, I am kind of like trotting with my feet. So, in other words, my feet are constantly, not only my feet, my whole body is switching weight from one side to the other all the time. Now, how we're going to put these two exercises together? I'm going to show you with the sticks one more time. I'm going a lot slower than the music is asking me to do. In my head, the music of Rodolfo Biaggi is, like I was saying earlier, pam 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 pam. It's like a constant set of 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2. Still, that count is going like the regular count of tango. 1 2 3 4 1 2 3 4 1 2 3 4. But like I said earlier, with one side of my brain, this is just an example, it's not that actually it's happening that way, but with one side of my head, I'm going 1 2 1 2 1 2, and with the other side I'm going 1 2 3 4 1 2 3 4. But at the same time, I'm combining both speeds in order to make something that is a lot more interesting in my dance. I know that it sounds like really difficult to all of a sudden think of two speeds and mix them together with the steps that I'm giving you. That's the reason why I'm doing it extremely slow, but I want you to have that information. Eventually, you're going to listen what I'm listening. So apply these steps to that way of listening to the music is going to be a lot easier. And more than anything else, it's going to be a very cool challenge when you're dancing, okay? I mean, when you're dancing on the dance floor. And again, my experience is if you do these little things that are changing the speed or are challenging your dance partner, she's going to love it. And she's going, the next time you ask her to dance, she's not going to be thinking, oh, this guy can do syncopation and he loves to dance biaggi. She's going to think, oh, this guy does weird things. It's interesting to dance with him. The moment, gentlemen, this is so very important, the moment you start doing interesting things, that's the moment that you arrive to the place and all the ladies are going to be looking at you directly in the eye because all of them want to dance with you. So now we're going to connect part 1 with part 2. We start with part 1. We establish that we take a side step, we rebound 1 time, 2 times, and after this 3rd time, I'm going to move her to go in front of me. And immediately after this, I'm not going to finish 6, 7, 8. I already have her leg hanging. So immediately after this, she just did a forward step with her left foot and she's coming forward. So immediately after that, I'm going to create the first rebound. And then finish. So if you come to think about it, it's like I am making a full molinete by blending 2 half molinetes that are completely different from one and the other. And on top of that, I'm making certain embellishments. These are very masculine embellishments. When I do the rebound, that is kind of like an embellishment for guys. So you're making your dance partner dance in a repetitive way, but it's so very exciting because it connects everybody with the music. So let's try to do it once again from a different angle. So I go side, I go forward with my right and start doing the rebounds. 1 rebound, 2 rebounds. We are done. 1, 2, 3. I hold the movement. See, this is also called a rebound. I make her go back. I step with her and create again another set of rebounds. And then 1, 2, 3. I lead a forward step to finish. 6, 7, and 8. That is a very simple way of explaining that part. If I'm doing the exercise with the pillow, I want you to focus in just my upper body. So I'm going to do it a little bit faster so you can tell how I'm playing with the music. Now, if I go in the same way, but a little bit slower, okay? Once again, I want you to make sure that tango is not something that we can achieve just by looking and in your head doing it. It seems that way because when you know how to do it, and on top of that, when the teacher is very clear to explain what you need to do, it intellectually it seems that it's very easy. However, you have to try it. We have different shapes of bodies. We have a different way of moving our body. So those are going to be our challenges. Don't forget, every technical part that I've been talking about in this past series, I want you to apply when you're walking. Once again, this is for the gentleman. When you're walking forward, I want you to remember walking with your chest forward, making sure that your legs are not bent. This would be completely different if I am going to go with my knees bent. Okay? A rebound step is felt all the time in the hips. So you have to use your hip joints. If you have any doubt about how to do the rebounds, feel free to review for the lessons that probably from 1 to 5 that we're talking about that. How to move, how to switch weight, how to make a rebound, etc., etc. So the ideal movement is a very clean movement that is being applied with all the technique, trying to keep your elegance and try to maintain the elegance of your embrace. What does that mean? That both of you are looking great because you are, as a leader, you are making her, you're helping her to look 10 times better. Probably she doesn't have that much of a technique, but if you keep your technique, she's going to adapt to that technique a lot faster. Okay? And once again, I'm not going to be tired of repeating this. Gentlemen, it depends on you how to make the follower feel comfortable in your arms. If you try to do this just thinking of you, she's going to feel threatened and she's not going to do it the best way. The moment that you invite properly, and clean with elegance, she's going to feel like she's, you know, she's riding in a, I don't know, in a Maserati. If you go like, she's going to feel like she's driving in a pickup truck, 1978. Okay, so it has to be something that you're creating in a very nice and relaxed way, in a very elegant and flowy way. That's the only way that you can be able to be in contact with her and have communication with her. Okay, so now let's go to the ladies' role. So for the ladies, this is going to be very simple in the terms that you are not doing anything new. This is just variations of exercises that we have been doing before. Gentlemen, if you're looking at this part, which I would love you to look anyways, pay attention of the sticks because those are your roles. So I'm going to veer a little bit so you can see what I'm doing clearly. The gentleman is going to take a side step. Remember, ladies, that I was talking about the hip joint to the gentleman. If the hip joint is important for the gentleman when doing a rebound, it's a lot more important for you. If you look at my hips, I barely have any hips. Women, because they are designed that way, they have wider hips. They are more curvy. So your hip needs to dance in the moment of the rebound. So although I don't have any hips, see, I'm not going to force the movement of my hips, but I am going to let that flowing movement go through my whole body. So side step, you take that side step nice and wide. The next thing that you know is that the leader is going to walk forward and you're going backwards. Don't forget that backward step is always elongated, and here is where the fun starts. If you bend your knees, see, if you do it correctly, it happens like this: side, chan 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 chan, right? That was right. Let me show you a case when one of the cases that it's not right. This is the most common mistake. What is happening here? I'm leaving everything, like all the energy of the rebound, in my knees. When I do that in my knees, there is no core movement. It's just boom. Instead of going like this in a very nice wave, my body goes like dum, dum, dum. So I want you to always think the movement of your body needs to be a very nice wave, like a wave in the middle of the ocean. So after the third one, he's going to lead you into molinete. 2, 3. After the third, the leader is going to help you finish 6, 7, and 8. As you can tell, it's very simple. There's no any secret here. I do the first rebound, the second, and then back, side, forward, 6, 7, and 8. Because I am asking you gentlemen to look what is happening with your feet as well, your legs. The same thing that I'm asking the ladies to do, to keep the leg in the rebound here completely straight, it applies to everybody. It's not just something that the ladies have to take care of. Ginger and Fred, they have very stiff legs, so it's very easy for me to do that. However, if the leader bends his knees, it's like an invitation for the follower to do so. So if you, like, let's say, break this knee and you bend it, it is going to feel like that. Okay, which we don't want. Whenever we are moving around as followers around the leader, I want you to make sure that, oh, sorry, I did it on the other side from the leader's role. Here, look how at the very end of the exercise, I am moving kind of like my chest is tilted a little bit towards the leader. That is so very important. If you don't have that feeling of going to the center all the time, the centrifugal force is going to take over you, and that is going to make you go away of the leader, and the leader is going to feel like his axis is going away. I mean, nobody's going to fall, but the steps is going to get, the set of steps are going to get broken, and on top of that, you're not going to be able to flow that much. It's kind of like everything comes to an end. So my advice here, you have to keep the movement going as far as you can tell, as far as you can possibly go. Make it last. Even if the leader is stopped, like I said many times, you can still dance with the music, with the leg that you have in the air. If nothing is in the air, your core can still be dancing. Okay? Now, I'm going to do it one more time on the other side. Side step, back rebound, rebound again, last one, 1, 2, 3, 6, 7, and 8. For now, we're ending in that position of 6, 7, 8. That is not going to happen all the time. What is happening in terms of the lead? I'm always showing you the close embrace. Although if we would like to do it, we can do it in an open embrace. But ideally, you're going to feel what is happening very close with your own chest, in the chest of the leader. So he's going to create some space for his walk here. You follow that, and see, in order to go to the rebound, he's going to move. So you have no other alternative to move there. Then he's going to move to the other side. This movement of 90 degrees is determinant for you to go follow that lead. And after that, see, the lead keeps going. If I would have not been, like I asked you to feel this feeling of going to the center, towards the leader, to the connection. If you're only like, see how right now my weight is more on my heels. If I dance like this, the moment that the leader leads the half molinete, I'm going to end up going away, because every time that we spin, we create this much or this much of centrifugal force. So even though it's very little, I want you to make sure that you're not taking that centrifugal force with you, or the centrifugal force is not taking your balance. I want you to stay with the leader, okay? And that also happens in the second exercise. I'm going to do it from here. Side step, back ocho, another back ocho. And here the chest of the leader moves in the same way as before. He's going to move 90 degrees to let me know what direction my foot is taking. And at the end, he keeps flowing, making me go around him. The only tricky part in this second exercise is the ending. The ending has to finish with a forward ocho. So I'm going to repeat that part for you. So we go side, back ocho, back ocho. Immediately after this, he's going to boom, pull, and go, pull, and go, and 1, 2, 3. Here you're going to feel that he's making you go in suspension, and then all of a sudden he opens his chest and finishes the exercise. One more time. It is so very important for you to keep the connection up here. The information that I'm giving you for where are the legs of the leader is at the very beginning to organize your feet. When you're practicing this with a partner, I want you to pay attention here, not the legs anymore. He is the one that has to have the perspective of feet, center, head, shoulders. You just have to make everything look completely clear and beautiful. Okay. Now, when we think about both exercises, let me go back to our playlist. When I think about to blend this in, it's a little bit harder for the leader to think of blending in. You don't really have to think of the blending in. Once again, if you think that you can elongate the whole movement, see, if I'm going to move my arm, okay? But if I move my arm with the music, I can make it last a little bit longer. Nobody is in control of my fingers. Probably the leader is in control of taking my arm over there, but I am still moving, and I'm trying to do so that I am following the music. Following the music not in a particular beat kind of way, which I am encouraging all the time the leaders to do. You're more free. You can go with the melody, or you can go melody and beat. Okay, so like I was asking the leaders earlier, this is not going to happen just by looking. Oh, I know and I understand this. Probably you understand it intellectually, but I want you to practice every time that you can, doing these circles on the ground with your feet, doing taps that we practice. Again, I'm going to encourage you to go back if you don't understand what I'm talking about right now. Go back to the first lessons so you can practice that. Now, in the blending in of the both exercises, important for you, gentlemen, Ginger is your right leg. I'm sorry, Fred is your right leg. Ginger is your left. So we are starting doing a side step. See, my front is this wall, and I'm going to come back to this front. Side step. The first rebound start. 1, 2. We are done on that side. 1, 2, 3. Here, my right leg is in the air. The leader is going to hold it in the air, and then he's going to make me go back. 2. We're done. 1, 2, 3. Forward ocho. I came back to the same direction. So in order for you to control if everything is working out the best way possible, you have to make sure that you are in your brain that is happening, this connection with where you are. Okay? Now, what can I do in order to make that elongation of the movements? As I was telling you earlier, the more you elongate your legs, the better it's going to feel. You're going to be able to go like this. I'm not, see, if I move my hips just by moving my hips, it happens like that. But if I allow my hip joints to move, it's a very different feeling. Okay, now I'm dancing with my joints very loose. If I connect my joints, then I move as a whole. If I disconnect my joints, I move like a little bit of a snake. Okay, so two, we're done. In 3 steps, I'm going to go 1, 2, 3. The leader brings me back. One, two, three. Now you have a lot of opportunities there to do something beautiful. I'm not even just going to call this embellishment. You can do, you can dance and elongate the movement. See? So, if we leave these two for a while and we focus in just your movements, this is going to feel a little bit like this. Okay, I'm going to do it again with a different front. So basically what I'm trying to do is not only connect with the leader, in the last part of the exercise I try to connect with the music. I know most of you are always asking me, but Rene, it's so difficult to connect because I depend so much of the leader, and the music is not always in time with the leader's lead. It is a work of everybody. The leader is struggling, you are struggling, The music is doing the music is perfection. So at some point, it's, the music is like the train that is never stopping, and you're in the station, and the train is never going to stop. You have to learn how to jump in that inside that train that is moving all the time. The job of the leader is probably determinant to your movements. However, if you're a good follower, if you understand everything that is happening without looking at the ground, without the leader like making an extremely harsh lead, your movements, like I was telling the leader, this is the opposite that I'm telling you. If you learn exactly what you have to do in certain moments, how to keep your axis straight, how to keep connected, how to manage your technical movements, your ability to read where the leader's feet or legs are. All that is going to combine into a set of if I can call it this way, a set of mind that is going to make you, even when you're dancing with a beginner, it is going to make you realize how to get connected. That beginner is probably, imagine always the beginner as somebody that is trying to speak your language. Instead of just dismissing that person because you don't understand what he's saying, try to pay attention. And instead of telling him, like for example, he's saying, my name, instead of just, oh, your name is Renee? Or you're asking for what's your name? Try to wait in patience until he's done saying his sentence. Then you're going to feel like while he's doing that, his lead is extremely slow, but the train is passing by. His lead is completely late for the train, but you're not, so you can still move. His lead is happening, but you still can create movement. The movement is not something that happens by itself. You have to generate it. When you're dancing with a person that has a very dramatical difference in the level of your dance, either higher than you or lower than you, it's very difficult to coordinate how to create the movement, both of you. So sometimes you're going to feel that if you're dancing with a professional dancer, that you don't have enough room or time. And then if that leader that you're dancing with, or that follower, it doesn't matter, is patient with you, you're going to feel like there is communication. If there is no communication, if you're trying to fill the blanks of somebody that has a very limited skills in the language that you're speaking, and you're impatient with them, then that person is unable to communicate, and both sides end up frustrated. The key here is to relax, listen what the other has to say, and then make something. Sometimes you're going to be the one giving more, but as a whole, both of you are going to benefit of that, because you both are going to be growing together, communicating together. That is what tango is all about, and that is what I want you to try to do, not only with the lessons that we're doing here, but try to apply it to your life. That's how tango changes us, because it makes us different people, and I want you to be that different. Okay, so now let's do the footwork. Okay, so the footwork is once again, I want you to make sure that in this part you focus in the technical part. Your legs are more technical. The way that you move your core is more technical. The movement most of the time is not as technical. So what this is for the leaders. What we are doing at the very beginning is, see, some people like to elongate and then land. Some other people like to walk normally. I would say, imagine that you're going to step with your foot completely flat. But make sure at this point that when you're doing so, look at my knee. My knee is trying to keep completely straight. It's not stiff. See, I'm not walking purposely with my legs like glued together in the joints, but I am going to try to keep that leg elongated. Okay? Now, although my legs are elongated, my ankles and my toes need to be completely free. So, in the rebound, see how like every time that I'm coming here, I want you to feel like your toes feel like grabbing the ground. Grab the ground, like imagine the paw of a wild animal. Okay? That feeling needs to be constantly in your head. You're using not only your foot, you're using every muscle in that area. So after that, the rebound probably is the part that is like not that complicated. Look how the movements of my feet are going to accompany the movement of the lady. First, I'm doing rebound, and then I have to collect and let her go 1, 2, 3. But I'm not just going 1, 2, 3, because if I don't move my feet, I have to switch the direction. My direction was here originally, and I have to move here, but I'm right now stuck here. If I don't do anything, my feet are going to end up like this, and my front is going to that side. So I have to keep moving. So if I think about that, I'm going to go side, create the rebounds. Look how my left foot is pivoting. 1, 2, 3, 6, 7, 8. So although I am not moving from the same spot on the ground, I'm still switching my weight. That, gentlemen, is extremely important. If you don't move and you just move your upper body, you're going to have a lot of problems doing that. Okay? So make sure that when you're moving, you're going to go. I ask you not to count, but if you really need to count, you can count until the end of. And see, I'm not going to patronize telling you how to count. You see, I'm going to do it one more time on the other side. You find your count in here. Okay? Just one more time with the stick so you can see what is happening and when you're collecting while she is moving still. I'm going to do it in a diagonal line so you can see. I collect and she keeps going. But when she's going, I'm always switching my weight. That needs to be very, very clear in your head and in the way that you're doing this. Now I'm going to do the second part of the exercise, in which we're leading back ocho. I can do this independent of the other movement, or like we're going to see a little bit later, both exercises. So in this rebound, the same thing. In order to create any kind of rebound on the side, forward, backwards, I'm relying on the joints of my hips. So it's very important to have those joints loose. Don't tense up. The more that you make your glutes tight, you tense up your hip joints. So try to relax, keep your spine very nice and elongated, and that is going to help you create this feeling of being loose but in control of the movement. So I'm going to try to do it again. Slow, side step, back ocho. I walk with her the first back ocho, but then I'm going to bring her with me, and then again, see, I'm going forward and back. And at the very end, I collect my feet, but she's going back, pam, pam. Forward ocho, 6, 7, and 8. Thing to remember in this step, the same as I did in the first one, is that your body is rotating. See how, like, every time I'm switching my weight, I'm moving around. There's no way that I can do that just by moving my torso. Okay? I want you to be aware of that every time that you're rotating, your feet are changing its position, their position. So I do it one more time. Back ocho, back ocho. I bring her with me. I do the rebound. 1, 2, 3. Forward ocho. 6, 7, and 8. Okay? I want you to be very clear when you're going to stop your movement, when you want to stop the lead, the movement, everything. Don't forget, when you try to stop, your feet, they can be apart, but everything is going to be upwards. See, if I raise my center, touch your belly buttons, please, and try to lift that belly button a little bit higher. Feel how your each of your vertebrae are kind of like stretching your spine a little bit longer, making you taller. That's how you pause the movement, by suspension. Okay? So in the moment when you, right before you're going to finish 6, 7, 8, I'm going to do this one more time in front of the camera. Side step, second side step. I start the rebound, and then I go 1, 2, 3, forward ocho. See, here it's like I'm pausing and I'm stretching. And 6, 7, and 8. When you suspend that movement, the lady knows that she can play with her leg, and then beautiful things happen. So once again, I want you to create the space of and time to allow these beautiful things to happen. If the more that you pause, the more that you allow these spaces, your dance is going to become a lot more beautiful. Okay? Now, combination of both exercises. Side step, I do the first part. I'm done. 1, 2, 3. Here, once again, my feet are together and I'm going to suspend her. And immediately I'm going to take her to a back ocho. Her right leg is already going to the back ocho, so I just have to do one back ocho and start playing with the second rebound. She goes 1, 2, 3, forward ocho, 6, 7, and 8. It takes a little bit of practice to do that suspension before she exits the steps in 6, 7, 8. So for now, because we're learning, I want you to go very slow. I'm going to do it once again from the very beginning. Rebound, rebound. Another rebound, we're done. 1, 2, 3. I suspend. I change her direction, walk with her back ocho. I rebound with her. We're done. 1, 2, 3. Forward ocho. I suspend her. I make a little bit of a pause, making sure that I am lifting her body up. And then I walk 6, 7, and 8. That would be the perfect way of doing this. Now, when we dance faster, our technical skills become a little bit disturbed. I still want you to, they change a little bit, but if you're dancing faster, it's harder to keep your technical structure in place. Still, I want you to try to do it. I'm going to lead the movement a little bit more with a faster speed as I would dance in the milonga. As you can tell, all the time I'm going with every beat, because in my head, as I told you earlier, I am going 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. Let's try to do it again. If you cannot reach that speed, don't worry, keep working slow, and eventually you're going to be able to read the music in that faster pace. Now, ladies, as I said earlier, important, I mean, if for the leader is to keep his hips loose, for you it has to do with your elegance, it has to do with your femininity. If you move like this, you cannot look nice, elegant, flowy. Your movements, I mean, your whole body needs to be connected with the movement. So always learn, always practice to feel like, you know, there is, you're moving in waves. You're never moving in angles up and down, okay? So, for you, the movement, first in very slow motion. I want you to remember, I'm going to emphasize this all the time. Whenever you're starting to dance, make sure that you feel your feet tight together. It is not very nice to start dancing like this. If you're wearing high heels, You can have a little bit of difference in between your metatarsal, uh, your metatarsal area, but not so much. This is not very good. Okay, again, not very good because it's wrong. It's just simply because it looks bad, and it makes your feet do a lot more of an effort. If your feet are together and you're holding your center comfortably, you're going to be look a lot better. Okay, so provided that you're starting in that position, very nice, your feet together, the leader goes. Whenever you feel that the leader is going to do a rebound, it feels like a surprise. Now, this is like a nice surprise, like, oh, surprise party, surprise. It cannot be like a spooky surprise. Oh my God, okay? So in order to feel that, the movements of your body need to welcome that surprise. Look how, in order to make the movements of the leader easier for him and for me, at the end, my foot is pivoting a lot. If I don't allow that foot to pivot, I'm going to cut that half molinete in like really way too short. See, I'm going to do it wrong now. I take the step and I'm going 1, 2, 3. The idea is that my direction needs to change, right? But if I just go here without pivot, I don't change too much. Remember what I was asking, I was telling you at the very beginning of the lesson, that this exercise can actually become a full molinete just by half of the exercise. If you allow your feet to pivot, you're allowing both the leader and you to pivot a lot nicer. So don't, for now, eventually you're going to learn to place, you're going to learn what moments are safe to place your heel back on the ground. But for now, because you're getting stronger, I want you to try to keep your weight on the metatarsus most of the time. Okay, especially when you're feeling that there is a lot of movement, don't try to put your heels down. So see, I'm going to do it with my heels in the air all the time. One, two, three. See how I turned 360 degrees instead of the original 180. That depends on you. So make sure that you do these changes when you're dancing. Now, the second part of the exercise happens when you're doing back ochos. In the second ocho, you're going to feel that something is happening here. Probably immediately, he's going to try to go somewhere else and then cut that energy. Bum, bum, bum. The first thing that I'm tempted to do is to count the steps, but nothing comes from counting because at least in my head, the counting gets lost because the leader might want to do a different set. So that's the reason why I'm not doing any counting. However, if that suits you, you can always do your own counting while practicing in the way that I am doing it. So we're going to do 2 back ochos first. 1, 2. In this one, in the second one, we start rebounding. Look again, my knees. Look how my metatarsal and my ankles are working during the rebound. Everything is feeling nice and soft. And then I go 1, 2, 3. I was asking you in the first part of the exercise to make sure that you're pivoting comfortably. Part of that pivot is your ability to make a very nice and clear forward step. As I have been telling you all this almost, I think that there are 15 lessons already. I want you to make sure that whenever you're taking a forward step, the step is not going towards the leader. See, this is wrong. Always think that you're walking forward. No matter if you're dancing perpendicular to the leader, the leader is going to manage to make you go again in front of him. That is not your responsibility. So I know that it feels weird that I am asking you to go away from the leader, but that going away from the leader, imagine that the leader is here, okay? I'm not going to walk towards the leader. I'm going to walk in front of my other foot, because then I have the chance to pivot a lot better. If I step in this position, my pivot is almost nothing. If, like, for example, if we would have to do a change of direction, look, I'm going to do it in a diagonal line so you can see. I step forward, I'm stepping in front of my other foot. Look how the pivot is helping me. I mean, the way that I'm stepping there, I have a very nice and elongated pivot. What happens if I go like this? My pivot is short, and because the pivot is too short, my foot is arriving a little bit earlier, making that forward ocho something a little bit like this, which is not a very good way of doing forward ochos. At the very end, I'm going to do the full exercise one more time. I'm going to do it here. First back ocho, second back ocho. We start playing. And then see what happens here. 1, 2, 3. I'm going in front of the other foot, pivot. If I have that pivot that long, my left leg can do something. The same thing in the next forward ocho. If I step in front of the other foot has room for pivot and has the time to dance and keep going. So I know that I'm asking the leaders to create space for you to say something, but at the same time, your technical skills are placing you there. The more that you have in mind that you have the ability to create your space, to create your that you have the ability to elongate your movement every time that you're walking, the better you're going to be connected with the leader. And for some reason, the leader misses that connection, and he's trying to do things all by himself. By elongating your movement and trying to go a little bit slower is a very nice and elegant way to tell the leader, I'm here. I'm listening to you. Please listen to me. Okay? Once again, I go back. This is all about communication. It's not about the leader. It's not about the follower. It's about both of you getting in connection with the music and with your movements in order to create something that is completely beautiful and has no flow on it. Okay? Well, thank you so very much for coming to this lesson. We have tonight Emiliano Messias with us, so it's going to be a lot of exciting music and a lot of live tangos to share with him and all his experiences. So please join us, and I will see you in a little bit. Thank you so very much. Thank you so very much for your support. Let's keep together in tango.